everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. I love that I just knocked over whatever was stacked here on my little sound box, my mixer. But it's been a week, I'll say that, first and foremost. Of course, everyone's a fan of something, and we've got something for every fan. But if you're a fan of just off weeks, it's a little weird because it's been quite an off week for me. Got back from the first stop on the Fan Show tour Sunday night at midnight. Monday went right back to the day job. And then Tuesday had the day off but wasn't feeling quite well. Did the show. And then yesterday there was all the weird stuff going on with Facebook and Instagram. And I had a terrible sore throat and thought I was coming down with something. Much better today, thankfully. But I thought to myself, I could do the show. I very easily could do the show. And it would be just like normal where we do the audio and no video on Facebook Live. But I've had so much fun doing the Facebook Live at the beginning to get through the opening segment and the headlines that it didn't feel right to still do the show without that. So we're back. We've got not one but two guests as a result tonight. I feel like it's going to be a great episode because both guests I was very excited to get on. We will do our follow-up with Cole Herdman, the tight end from Purdue. He is there's a lot of conversation going on about him going into the draft, so we'll have our conversation with Mr. Herdman from Purdue, the Boilermaker, and then your outstanding offensive player of the week, Matt Behrendt, joins us as well, and we had a great conversation last night. So both of those you will hear once we're through the headlines and everything, which there's a lot, because yesterday was supposed to be the day that we were going to talk a lot about everything that had transpired. Literally, the Tuesday, we go off the air, and about 20 minutes goes by, and then all of a sudden, notifications start coming through. This person has signed with this person has signed with this, and this person's been traded, and it was just, it was chaos. So for those of you watching, I thank you for tuning in. Those of you listening, I thank you for tuning in as well. If you're listening, jump in the chat because we're going to start today's episode off with a poll question. And then, of course, on the Facebook Live, you guys can do in the comments as well. But the question is that of the big signings, the big moves that we have seen, which one is going to benefit that team the most? Now, I know the knee-jerk reaction is Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns, right? Which, spoiler alert, when we get to the headlines, we'll talk about that. But the thing is that if you turn the clocks back a year, the Browns went out and spent an obscene amount of money on defensive pieces that they felt they were missing because it was Super Bowl or bust for them. Now, they got to the Super Bowl, but they did not win it. But they certainly made all the free agency moves that speak of a team that is, this is it. Like, we're putting all our chips to the center, and we're going to go, go, go. And the Browns, I feel, are taking a bit of a different approach. They're selling what I feel is hope in the form of jerseys and ticket sales by adding a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. So let's go ahead and put it out there right now. Of the big free agency signings and trades, which one do you feel will have the biggest impact? And your choices are Nick Foles to the Jaguars, Antonio Brown to the Raiders, Le'Veon Bell to the Jets, and of course Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns. So Foles to the Jags, Brown to the Raiders, Le'Veon Bell to the Jets, and OBJ to the Browns. Which one will have the biggest impact for that team, and which do you think is going to show the most, flourish, really, show the most success? And we are talking about immediate impacts here. So let's go ahead. Let's get to the headlines while you guys think that one over. And headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. And in case you guys missed my story from yesterday, the company that they sent my logo and everything to get that drop and repeat, that giant 10-foot backdrop made. They actually sent the photos that I sent them saying this is torn up and this came scuffed up and this is ripped and this is coming apart. And they said this is unacceptable. Ethan did. He reached out to him. They sent him not one, but 2 brand new ones. So there's technically 3 drop and repeats. We got to figure out what to do with the one. I came up with the idea Tuesday to you guys. I said, what if I cut the one that's a bit scuffed up and torn up into equal size pieces, 10 of them, and send them out to the IFL teams to have players sign them, the whole squad, and then we could, I don't know, auction those off or sell them to help pay for the tour. I don't know if that sounds greedy or something, but I'm sure the front offices and everything would have to be up for it. But that was an idea. There's a few things that could be done with it, but it would just seem like a waste to throw it away because it's not. I mean, it could be a backdrop here, maybe hang it up on the wall, and I could have that. We'll see. Well, there's a few things. So suggestions on that, and then, of course, the questions. So first up, there was a lot of NFL action that's happened in the last 2 days. Let's try to get through this as quick and painlessly as possible. Nick Foles officially signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then we have Dee Ford, the big linebacker from the Chiefs. He signed with my Niners. Very excited about that. That adds some firepower to the defense. And then, let's see, the Giants traded Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns. And I mean, okay, they got a lot for him. They got what the Steelers should have got for Antonio Brown, in all honesty. Like, as far as that whole sweepstakes goes, the Giants cashed out big time for what they got for it, but they still traded Odell Beckham Jr. And I'm not an OBJ fan by any means. I'm pretty sure I've admitted this. I feel like he has an attitude problem. But just for them to go and trade him like that after they draft Barkley, and they're going to eventually get into the exit interview with Eli Manning. They're going to usher him out. I thought they were going to do it last year. It's just odd. I'd like to say that their GM doesn't know what he's doing at all, but who knows? It could be one of the biggest trades that we talk about for years to come, not on the Odell Beckham Jr. side. We could be talking about the Giants and what they've been able to do with that franchise since Tuesday. Starting Tuesday, we might be looking at this completely different. And then let's see, Clinton Dix signed with the Bears on a 1-year deal, and then Golden Tate signed with the Giants on a 4-year deal. I thought that was odd there. And then the Raiders went and released Jordy Nelson. There was a photo that went out when that trade was finalized for Antonio Brown, and it was hilarious because it said the new look Raiders offense. It's got Derek Carr, and then in the middle Antonio Brown, and then off to the other side was Jordy Nelson. And I'm like, okay, so one of these things is not like the other, being Derek Carr, because he did not have a very good season last year. And now they've released Jordy Nelson. So I don't know what's going on in Gruden land. I really don't. That's just weird to me, if you had to ask what I thought was one of the weirdest things. So the Clinton Dix deal is a 1 year, and then the Golden Tate deal is 4 years worth $37.5 million with 23 guaranteed. The Redskins re-signed Adrian Peterson. I thought that was a good move by them. Cowboys have re-signed Tavon Austin. Michael Bennett is a Patriot now. Of course, that was a lot of the rumor that maybe his brother would come out of retirement so that they could play together. So that might happen. And then Blake Bortles has been released. Color me shocked, like we didn't see that one coming. Chargers have signed Tyrod Taylor, and I think we talked about the Ravens picking up Mark Ingram as well as Earl Thomas. The Chiefs released Eric Berry. This one confuses me. He has been such a beacon of hope for not just the NFL or that team, but just life. And you'd think that you would want to have a centerpiece like that on your team, especially the defensive side, because those types of players, those types of people, and those stories are hard to come by. But he's going to find another home real quick, and he's gonna do some damage. The Earl Thomas joining the Ravens, they weren't even in the conversation. It was either going to be San Francisco, Dallas, or New England, and then all of a sudden he signs with the Ravens. It's the craziest thing. This has been one offseason to remember for sure. And let's see. Adam says, he says, Foles, since all they had before was Bortles. That's like the easy answer, man. You gotta think a little bit more in depth. Was it really Bortles that was the problem, though? Because they did have that very deep playoff run the year before. People thought they were going to upset the Patriots. I mean, they were a team on fire, and Bortles was the quarterback then. So I'm going to let you rethink your answer. Let's see here. Let's see what else people have to say. Adam said it's best not to try to figure out the Raiders. Yeah, I gave up on that myself. It's so confusing to me. So again, those of you just tuning in, those of you listening, the poll question today, or just the question of the day, is which off-season free agency or trade move so far will have the greatest impact on that team. Antonio Brown to the Raiders, Nick Foles to the Jaguars, Bell to the Jets, or OBJ to the Browns, obviously. And I feel like a lot of people are going to pick that just because it's Baker Mayfield and OBJ and Chubbs. Here's the thing that I see with the Browns, though, that a lot of people are overlooking, is that they're going to run into the Seattle problem, the Legion of Boom issue that they had, which is that you're signing all these players very young, and they are very promising young players. So they're going to have to get paid at some point, and you're going to have to figure out how deep your pockets are when it comes to that. Who's expendable and who needs to stay. So the Browns can enjoy their time right now of growth and hopefully flourish and all of that, but there's going to come a time where if they haven't made a deep run in the playoffs or appeared in a Super Bowl, they're going to have to start figuring out who's going to stay and who's going to go, because they're not going to be able to afford all those guys. They're just not. You look at that offense right now, you look at this, 3 years from now? Even 2 years from now, there's going to be a few guys that you've got to really think about the contract. Let's see here. OBJ should give another target to Mayfield, and then just don't pull another Hugh Jackson. That's a good one. Let's see. Man, the Ravens. Are the Ravens a sleeper team with Mark Ingram and Earl Thomas? There's another question for you. Are the Ravens that sleeper team now? Because they've moved past Flacco. I thought the Giants would move on from Eli before the Ravens ever moved on from Flacco. And this surprises me in a big way. So that was one of the moves that I thought, I guess, didn't happen. The Eli one, but the Flacco one did. That's crazy. So in IFL news, we've got games this Friday and Saturday, not Sunday. A couple of teams on a bye week. And then, of course, the power rankings came out yesterday. Didn't have a show, but still wanted to do the power rankings. Facebook finally decided to cooperate. So if you guys haven't checked those out, go to the Instagram, the Twitter, or the Facebook page, the F.A.N Show or @F.A.N Show Official. Let me know what you think. Barnstormer is still number one. Champs are the champs until further notice. Bismarck sitting in dead last. As far as transactions and moves, though, the IFL is taking some hits right now. Arizona lost Desmond Epps and Anthony Amos, and the Storm lost Trey Wofford. If you go and check out the transactions page, Epps is going to the AFL, I believe Columbus. Don't quote me on that. But Amos, he's going to the Hot Shots. He's going from one Arizona team to another. I don't know where Wofford is going. I imagine one of the two. But IFL should be the AFL should be charged with poaching, man, because they're coming for him, and they're making a last big push. I don't know why, but it is what it is with the AFL. You either love it or you hate it. Let's see here. Oh, and outdoors news, All-Star Bass Fishing, the Bobby Brown brand of bass fishing, his Bass Battles, the March Madness. The bracket is out, but the seeding will be completed Saturday, and they'll start their head-to-head on Sunday. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't checked out All-Star Bass Fishing, go give him a like on Facebook. Check him out because the concept is great. It's head-to-head. It's like a single elimination bracket of fishing, which is awesome. And we're one of the outdoors division is one of the sponsors. So go and check that out on Facebook as well. And let's see here. What other headlines do we have? Okay, so the matchups, the AAF, we've got Memphis and Salt Lake on Saturday. That's 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. Memphis, ever since they've started Mettenberger, has been really good. Salt Lake kind of hangs in there, but I think that Memphis is probably going to get this win. They've got momentum. They're going to ride it. So I like Memphis in that one. And then your second one on Saturday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern is of course the Hot Shots and the Apollos. And this one, I don't know why I had to do a double take at this one. I'm still going to go with Orlando. They're 5-0. I have no reason to doubt them. But this could be the upset. This could be where your upset is for this week, is Arizona. I don't know how. I don't know why. It's just lingering in the back of my mind that the Hot Shots could somehow upset Orlando. I'm not picking Arizona, but just keep in mind that I did say that this is where the one upset could come from. It'd be crazy if it happened. I just don't know why I looked at that matchup and said, Normally I would have saw the Apollos playing and been like, oh, it's a gimme. It's Orlando. Sunday, we have San Antonio against Atlanta. That's at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And Atlanta, they won again. This is crazy, but I'm going to go with San Antonio. I think they're the better team. And then the last game of Week 6 is the Birmingham Iron and the San Diego Fleet. Fleet coming off a big win. Birmingham coming off their second loss in a row. This is a team that hadn't lost all season, and now they've dropped back-to-back games. It's crazy. I'm going to go with the Fleet, though. For the Iron to lose 3 straight that's crazy. But this is a tough one. I'm going to come back to it. So IFL matchups, tomorrow night we've got Quad City, fresh off a bye against Cedar Rapids, fresh off their first win. And that is at 8:05 Eastern, 5:05 Pacific, 7:05 Central for you Central timers out there. And then we have Saturday, the doubleheader of Sioux Falls Storm versus the Bismarck Bucks. That is 7:05 Eastern, 4:05 Pacific, 6:05 Central Time. And then the new rivalry, the battle in Arizona. Tucson Sugar Skulls take on the Arizona Rattlers. Both are undefeated. Someone's got to lose. That is at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, 7 Central. And Rattlers fans are funny. Every time I say something about Arizona Rattlers, people get triggered, I guess. It's the craziest thing. But I don't have any hard feelings to Arizona. I don't. I'm not an Arizona fan, but I don't not like Arizona either. It's funny. It's kind of cute, though. It'd be crazy if Tucson ended up winning. But this is the Kevin Guy's team that he owns and the team that he coaches. It's going to be weird. Let's check the chat real quick before we press onward. Adam says that Trey Wofford's going to Atlantic City. They're poaching everybody. They got a couple of guys from the NAL, too, like half the Cobras starters, which that's going to suck for them. Let's see. Brown was a problem with the Steelers. Granted, that whole organization was a train wreck as long as they don't poison Juju Smith-Schuster. That's true. They've got a few guys that they've kept, which is good for them. But at the same time, the Steelers, man, they're normally a franchise that sticks to their guns. It's just like, oh, you're going to hold out, you're not going to play? All right, we'll move on from you. That's how it was with Le'Veon Bell. But something happened with that Antonio Brown situation that just flipped it on its head. And I can't figure it out. It's like the Steelers organization went from being the dad that's getting ready to take off his belt and go and discipline, to being the kid that's bent over ready to just take it. I mean, and it happened like that too. I don't know what the Steelers are thinking over there in Titletown, but it was embarrassing. It really was, the way that everything was handled. Antonio Brown was a Buffalo Bill for all of 6 hours until he said, "No, I'm not." I mean, and I want to be in on that conversation. Steelers front office calls Antonio, "Hey, we're trading you to the Bills." "No, you're not." "No, we're not." It just... Oh, Steelers. Okay. Where were we? Oh, we were talking IFL, and we got sidetracked. Thank you, Adam, though. Let's see here. Adam also thinks that Orlando is going to wreck Arizona. Hey, Luke, joining in. Let's see. Yes, the Guy Bowl. No, I do not live in Florida yet, Luke. But the Orlando team is growing on me, the Orlando Apollos. So let's see if that was everything. Was that everything? Captain Marvel came out last Friday. We forgot to touch on that in our pop culture headlines, but I've heard great things. We're going to go see it tonight, so please don't spoil it. And then on top of that, the new Avengers Endgame trailer dropped today, and of course, I love trailers. There's a lot of times that the movie trailer is better than the movie. I'm not saying that's the case for Marvel movies, but if you go back in the history of movie trailers, it's like every one of them could convince you that that movie was going to be an Academy Award winner or a blockbuster. And a lot of times you're like, I should have just stopped at the trailer. Hopefully that's not the case with any Marvel movie ever again, because they have done a phenomenal job, and this will be the culmination of 10 plus years that they have spent building this empire, this franchise, this beautiful, beautiful thing called the cinematic universe. And it's all going to come together for one final bow in April, and it's bittersweet, very bittersweet, because I can't wait to see how it all concludes. But I've enjoyed the ride, I really have, and we're gonna go see Captain Marvel tonight. That'll be a lot of fun. And music, I think I mentioned Tuesday, Blink-182. Travis Barker said that their new album is going to be out before their Warped Tour appearance in Atlantic City. Speaking of Atlantic City. And, again, congratulations to Nick Hague, Pasquale Vacchio, Craig Peterson, Trey Wofford for getting signed to Atlantic City of the AFL. I'm worried about them. I'm very happy for them because they are professionals. They should be paid as such, and hopefully that's what happens. But I'm worried about them because the AFL has always been sort of that relative you don't talk about, but yet everybody asks how they're doing. And with the AFL, last year, this is a league that had 4 teams, and their champion won all of 3 games, not including the championship, 4 if you count it. And there's 3 teams that left that were 4 teams that left. 5. Wow, I'm still counting. So Arizona left. They're still around there in the IFL. Iowa left. They're still around there in the IFL. Spokane left. They're no longer with us. Orlando left. They were gone, and now they're back. And Jacksonville left. I mean, these are big-time franchises in that league that decided that it was best for business to go somewhere else. So I caution people. The AFL had a lot of stuff going on, and then there was that indictment of Ivan Soto for the embezzlement. So we'll see what happens with that. And I think that's going to do it for our opening segment. So don't forget, we've got all new Fan Show Top 10 coming out this weekend. That'll be a lot of fun. Let me know what you think the best plays are. It's been a lot of fun to talk to you guys today, and we've got my interview with Cole Herdman from Purdue and Matt Behrendt, your outstanding Offensive Player of the Week of the Tucson Sugar Skulls, and they will play the Arizona Rattlers in the start of a new rivalry this weekend. So you won't want to miss that. Set your calendar. Make sure that you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at FanShowOfficial and The Fan Show. Give us a like and a share on Facebook here, which is facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. And, of course, you can subscribe and listen on demand if you can't listen or watch live, and that is iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker.com. You're going to want to click that link right there, and that'll take you to the rest of the episode, which is our great interviews coming at you right about now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now as we continue the path to the draft and our follow-ups with those that I had the privilege of speaking with at College Gridiron Showcase. It is Purdue's own Cole Herdman. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Yeah, you were quite the head turner at CGS, and of course I wanted to invite everybody that I talked to come back for a follow-up, maybe 2 or 3, depending on where life takes you in your own path. And then I invited guys that maybe we didn't have a chance to connect with, but you were a fun conversation, very charismatic. I remember, I think, telling your agent, I said, if this guy gets drafted and they need somebody that's good with the media and very friendly for those press conferences, you're the guy. So how's things been since CGS?
Things have been great. I had my pro day March 5th. So I spent the the month before that, just training and working out, trying to get my body in the best shape possible. Working on some of these tests like the 40, the pro shuttle, the L drill, which I think is also called the 3-cone, at the end, the broad jump and the vertical. But, really it was a great, 6, 7, 8 weeks of training to prepare myself for that pro day. Pro day went really well. And, I'm just excited. It's a really exciting time right now. I'm continuing to work out and, stay in touch with my agent, stay in touch with a lot of scouts, and kind of seeing where it goes from here is really exciting.
Yeah, it's a unique situation to be in. Everybody that I've talked to from CGS, I say, this is probably one of the rarest occasions that someone in your position will ever find themselves in. You're going on a path that you've never been on before and you'll never take again, because there is only one path to the draft, and each one of you is trying to make it your own. What's keeping you honest, focused, and just not lazy? Because I imagine a lot of things that you're doing right now, especially leading up to your pro day and now after, probably feel really mundane.
Yeah, it is kind of a weird feeling. You train so long for one day and, 5 or 6 tests that scouts kind of just rate you on. After that, it's kind of a weird feeling. Like you said, it's a little bit of relief that, you're done with your pro day and you can kind of just focus on, lifting, running, the bare essentials, things like that, not have to worry about these drills per se. But, it is, a big time to stay accountable. I think the biggest thing during this time is to, guys just to get with other guys in the same situation, same scenarios, guys who are trying to be play at the next level, and just work out with them and, continue to work. Nothing really changes for me. I'm eating right still. I'm working out, every day, working with a speed coach. So I'm just trying to do whatever I can to get myself prepared for the next level and whatever team drafts me.
Now, I think you and I talked about how this last year we really saw a sort of a surge at the tight end position. George Kittle had a phenomenal year. And, of course, it's rare to find guys that can not only produce well but stay healthy. And I'm not saying that you can predict the future on what your health will look like at the NFL level, but what's it like being a tight end coming out your senior year, going into the draft, knowing that that position is probably going to be on a lot of radars for a lot of teams?
Yeah, no, it is. That's a great position in the NFL, and a lot of teams, really understand how valuable the tight end is. Like you said, George Kittle last year did a great job just coming into a system and kind of making it his own. That's a guy I really, look up to and kind of want to base my game around. But, some of the biggest things, guys are looking for from tight ends coming into the draft. Like you said, availability is such a big thing. Everybody nowadays is, got a nick or a bruise, or a small injury they can play through. Being able to, just be available and, ready to go week in and week out is just a huge trait nowadays, especially in tight ends, because you do get banged up a lot. But yeah, that's huge.
Now, for you, being at CGS, we talked about opportunity, how it was the start of a new year, and it was kind of the chance to get started out on the right foot forward to the path of the draft. And for you, what was something, I imagine most of you guys take at least one thing away from every experience. What was one thing or more that you took away from CGS?
Well, CGS was, a really special event. Going into it, I didn't know a lot about it, to be honest. I knew it was a showcase and, there'd be scouts there, but I didn't really know how the practice structure was and if there was a scrimmage or if there wasn't. So coming into it, I didn't know a lot about it, but, I had a great 4 or 5 days there in Dallas. First off, I got to hang out with you and be on the show, so that's a plus. That was great. And also, it was just great because of the exposure it gives you. I mean, I talked to guys who went to the NFLPA Bowl. I talked to guys who went to, the East-West Shrine. And it sounds like, the College Gridiron Showcase is right up there with them. Just as many scouts. And the experiences they were sharing with me were very similar to the ones I had in Dallas. So it was amazing.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of you guys, anytime that an event can exceed expectations is a great thing, and hopefully CGS did that for you. Now, For you, what's your support system like at home, and how has that been, important to you going through this, what's led up to today and then, tomorrow and beyond?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm lucky to have a great family as my support system. Both parents have been very influential in my life, and they do a great job of just being there for me, and they're my rocks for sure. And I also have two siblings, both younger, that are great too, and I stay in touch with them every day, and they're excited for me as well. But it's just great having a family that you can lean on, and I'm really blessed, and I feel great that I have a great group of people in my corner.
So there's a team on the clock. Don't know what round. Don't know what what day of the draft it is. But they are in need of a tight end. Are you the next best available on the board?
Yes. Answer is yes.
Unequivocally, yes.
Yeah.
What would you?
Got to answer that question. Yes. You got to believe in yourself too.
Absolutely. What do you think Mel Kiper Jr. would say about you?
I think the first thing he might talk about is the experience. I played 4 seasons, started in all 4 seasons of my career at Purdue. And I feel like if you go back and watch the film, I do a lot of great things, both in the run game, blocking, and route running. So I think, being able to do both and kind of being a flexible tight end, you might want to say, is really important and something that, Mel might even talk about. So that's big.
And he's got chiseled features and a great smile, too. It's
right, yeah, he's gritty as well. So. You got to throw that in there. We laugh at it, but at the same time, it is a business where they like to have their spokespeople. For each team, the Giants, of course, hit big with Odell Beckham, and, of course, his attitude, being a little bit in question on the field. He is... that pretty boy that they get up there in front of the podium, and it's the same with the Panthers and Cam Newton, of course. The Patriots have Tom Brady, who is the king of quarterback speak by now. But, I'm sure it's something that you've probably had mentioned to you once or twice. What's it like knowing that in a league like the NFL where it's 99% of your skill and ability to produce on the field, but you also have that 1% that says, I could be that face of your franchise, even if it hasn't been a tight end. Gronk did it, but and now maybe you can too. Yeah, no, I think you said it perfectly. That at 1% that's not on the field is actually really important to a lot of upper management and NFL teams. They love guys who can handle themselves around the media. They really just don't want problems. It seems like you want to draft a guy who's what you're going to get. He's not going to say anything out of the ordinary, in a press conference or something like that. You want a guy who's going to, handle himself well in front of the media, and someone who's going to represent your organization well too. That's very important. And like you said, Gronk did it well, and I'm trying to shape my game and my off the field game around him too. So he's a great role model.
Yeah, I think the tight end position is a very funny one because it's like, the wide receivers are the divas and the quarterbacks are the leaders, and the tight ends, you're like the workhorses, It's if it's third and long, you can't be obvious and look for the number one option at wide receiver. You got to hope that there's that tight end that can go over the middle and pick up the extra 3 if he happens to throw it just a few short. And I'm not going to say it's a thankless job because there's a lot of really great tight ends throughout history, and who's to say that you're not going to be one of them? But it's got to feel good knowing that you're in a position that is not only valuable but also doesn't go unappreciated. Yeah,
I think maybe you look 10 years back at the tight end position, and it definitely changed a lot. It's come a lot to where it is today, like you said. But it is a very valuable position. I think, like I said earlier, teams know that, and that's why I think they're starting to spend a little bit more time looking at us and also just using us in the games too. It's a big part of the game nowadays.
Now, if you got called back to Purdue or your high school, your middle school, what have you, and they said, tell our young athletes a little bit about what you've learned on your experience right now, like as it were. If you had to look back and wish that you had maybe done something a little different, but this is the only time you're going to go through it, and the rest is, the path to the draft. So what would you say to those young athletes that are just thirsty for knowledge and want to know about the future?
I think today, a lot of younger athletes, especially trying to play football, and you know how competitive it is now in high school. They're all caught up on who has more offers than who. And me being a guy who wasn't highly recruited out of high school, I can speak on this. It's not really how many you have. You just need an opportunity is the biggest thing. And I believe, whatever happens, it's part of the plan. So, whatever school you end up at, make the most of it. Don't worry about the offers as much. Just worry about playing hard and just being a coachable kid and, just loving the game of football. Those are the biggest things I would probably tell them.
Now, you mentioned the word coachable, which is something that I've talked to a little bit with a couple of the other guys. There were some that said that part of their adversity that they faced coming up to this moment in life was coaches that they didn't get along with. Now, from the sound of it, you had a very happy, healthy college career starting all 4 seasons, but did you face any adversity, not necessarily a coach that you didn't agree with, but just something where you weren't sure that you would end up where you are right now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I felt like I had a great college career, but with that being said, I also had 4 position coaches in 5 years, so I can definitely speak on having a lot of coaches and different personalities as well. I didn't necessarily not get along with any of them, but they definitely have different coaching personalities, and they're all different people. And I think a big trait for a lot of these athletes is being able to just adapt and understand how they coach, and then let them coach, and you learn. I think that's a big part of it. A lot of guys, they want to get in arguments and they want to do it their way. I think, especially at the college level, you got to, show a lot of respect to these coaches. They've done it for a long time too, and you really just, take as much knowledge in as possible and try to use that on the field.
What's the key to being coachable?
Listen. don't talk as much, just listen. I think, being in meetings with a pen and a paper is huge. A lot of guys kind of sit back and have different ways of learning offenses or defenses, but being a student of the game and being able to hear something, write it down, and then do that on the field is a huge part of football. So I think having a pen and paper would be a great idea for anybody trying to be more coachable, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't listen as much as they should. I feel like, there's so many different phases of the game when it comes to your life. You go through, if you started in Pop Warner and then you have middle school, high school, and college, it's like you start each one and you almost say that you kind of master that level if you got through it and if you were a starter and if you learned well. But then the next one, it's like you're having to start all over again because it's a different beast. And so here you are, in between mastering the school portion of football, trying to be a professional. What is the next stop for you? Like, what is it? Hurry up and wait, or what do you have going on now that you've done your pro day?
Like I said earlier, just to continue to work out. There's a few teams that I'm going to go to attend their pro day. I know the Colts pro day is on April 13th, which is just before the draft. I'll be attending that in Indianapolis, and I'm still waiting to hear back about the Washington Redskins, who's a local team. So I expect to be invited to that pro day as well. But really, just stay in shape, work out. I'm staying in touch with my agent a lot because I'm making a lot of connections with scouts and position coaches, and really just be available is the biggest thing at this point. Just be ready to go whenever.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, hey, man, stay ready, stay focused, and certainly wish you guys from CGS all the best. And like I said, got a good feeling about you. You've always been a lot of fun to talk to. And, whichever team you land with, hopefully you can send me like a pair of gloves or something signed so I can throw them up here in the studio and say, I knew that guy when he was just a charismatic Purdue product at my interview table. But hey, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I can't wait to be back on the show, too. I would love to come back and speak to you guys and talk some more football with you.
Yeah, absolutely. They call your name draft day. Doesn't matter what day, what round. You are more than welcome to let your first, or at least your top 24, however much demand there is for Cole Herdman to be right here on the Fan Show. So, hey, best of luck to you, man. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk again soon, but good luck in your future and your path to the draft.
Definitely. Thanks again for having me on the show. It was great.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right, bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now is the Fan Show official outstanding offensive player of the week, quarterback of the Tucson Sugar Skulls, Matt Behrendt. Welcome back, Matty Ice. How you doing?
I'm doing real good. Really appreciate you having me out here.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you won that weekly league award and stuff, but really, I mean, the award that the show does, I feel like, is a little bit superior, but that's just my personal thoughts. But here, double dip, man. You've pretty much been recognized this week as the lone performer that stood above the rest, and it couldn't have been on a better stage than the home opener. How'd everything go in your mind as far as that weekend?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, the home opener, especially being the first game in the Tucson arena. I mean, the atmosphere there was crazy. It really was. You can tell the fans were excited to have indoor football finally, to have a professional football team. And you can tell, I mean, throughout the whole game, the crowd, the energy, it was just awesome. And then, I mean, we fed off that. As you can tell, as an offensive unit, we played amazing. Obviously, you can't just throw 8 touchdowns by yourself. Obviously, if you watch the game, the offensive line, again, 2 weeks in a row has just been fantastic. I mean, the amount of time I have back there really makes the reads and my job a lot easier. And then we got the receivers too. I mean, they're just, they're big time playmakers. So you just put the ball in the area and they make the play. So it's been a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun this weekend going out there again with all the fans and everything and showing out like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, you've always been a lot of fun to watch, and last time I saw you, of course, though it was unfortunate circumstances, you got hurt while you were in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then things got quiet for a while, and I said, are you coming back? Like, what's the word? And all of a sudden I see on your Instagram, you're posting stuff about being in Arizona and Tucson. I was like, Matty B's back, man. Like, how'd that come about?
Yeah. Like you said, unfortunately, the last time I was in Green Bay, I got hurt. That was back in 2017. And then so last year in 2018, on some personal stuff and everything, I had a job. And so I took the year off really. And during that season, keeping up with the league, watching the games in the league, it was just tough. It was really tough. I mean, I was just sitting there at home, just asking myself, what am I doing with, being in the best shape, prime. I just missed it so much that I had to get back out there. And then fortunate enough, I had the opportunity to come down here in Arizona, where it's beautiful out. And, I had the opportunity to play for the Sugar Skulls, and I'm very grateful for that. And obviously things are working out pretty well right now.
You went from 2 foot of snow, probably about this time, last year and this year.
Oh, yeah.
And the time that you were there, to nothing but sunny days and warm weather. So it's certainly...
yeah, a bit of a difference.
Certainly an upgrade destination-wise. But, I don't know if you know, but you might. What is it that makes Arizona such an indoor football market? 5,100 fans packed that place for you guys in Tucson. Do you know, how?
Oh,
why?
my God. I mean, really, I have no idea. It's crazy. I mean, I was surprised. The guys were surprised. But they really did a great job. The front office and all those guys, marketing and getting the word out. Tucson, I mean, there's a lot of people in Tucson. Football is obviously a lot of action, especially an indoor game. It's a lot of fun, and all you need to do is really get people out there to come watch. And once they get to a game, see the action, the fast pace, and how fun it really is, and how exciting it really is. That's how you get the people. So I'm not surprised too much. Like I said, they've done a great job getting the word out about us. So yeah, but I have no idea what the secret is down here in Arizona. They just love their indoor football. It's awesome. It's awesome to support.
Well, I'm certainly happy for you guys. I got a lot of friends on Tucson, Keith Jones Jr., Zach Allen, great defensive guys, and then, of course, Mr. Metz from Green Bay. He's down there with you as well. You got a great squad, great coach, and
absolutely.
I got to say, though, were you guys worried at all going to San Diego, knowing that you're both expansion teams in your first year in the league and seeing what a difference your front office and your marketing team can make?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's awesome. It was definitely a bit of a difference. Obviously, you can tell, just by the amount of people in the atmosphere, just the atmosphere, how they did it, everything. It was fantastic. It was, it was well above extra. It was everything. It was everything you would expect to be in a professional football team. So it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat to see. And again, it's just big credit to the front office and the people who put that thing together, the owners and all that. It's pretty awesome.
It certainly seems like Coach Guy, or I guess Owner Guy, has put the right people in the right places. And now you guys are going to face off against his team that he coaches. I don't know which one you would call more his team. Probably the Rattlers because he's been with them for longer. But you guys are the baby brother of one of the biggest franchises in the indoor football world. And you guys are going to go and take a trip to Phoenix. I think, 2.5, 3 hours northwest of you. And you guys are going to start a rivalry.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's going to be a great rivalry. Obviously, we don't want to be ever called the baby brothers or the little guys to these guys. We expect to go up there and definitely win and have a battle. Because we've put the work in. We know how like you said, Coach Guy or the owner guy has put together a great coaching staff. And they've put together a great team with talent. And they've got the game plan and. We're excited. We're definitely excited to really go out there and play, a very historic arena football team and a team that's, well recognized with wins and like that. And it's going to be an awesome. Again, like you said, it's about 2 hours away. The rivalry, it's, the start of a new rivalry. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
How well do you think your fans will travel? Because if you add, even half of what you guys had there, so about 2,500 to what Arizona gets, that place is going to be pretty crowded.
Right, yeah. That's exactly what people are saying. So, yeah, we hope that some Tucson fans will travel up there because, like I said, it's not the furthest trip to make, but, that would be awesome. We do expect to have, a big crowd just because it's in, a big Arizona in-state rivalry. So, I feel like it's very appealing. It's going to be real exciting. So, yeah, definitely expecting a big crowd there for Saturday night. That'll be a lot of fun.
You guys are 2-0 and will now go and face another team that is 2-0. You took a year off. Arizona's had a week off, and it just seems like this is the perfect storm for a lot of elements to come together to find out, who's really the best in Arizona. You guys feel like even as an expansion team that you guys are one of the teams to beat in the league in your infancy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the coaches and the teams, we've been working hard. We've been, together for about a good month and a half, 2 months. You can feel the chemistry and the atmosphere throughout the team, throughout the locker room. We know the kind of guys that we have. We know the talent that we have. We know, we just got to go out there and have fun and compete. If we do that, good things will happen. We stay in our zone, stay in our lanes. Good things are happening. So like I said, coach has put us in a great position. And we definitely are, especially with the first 2 weeks behind us, we definitely have a lot of confidence. But like I said, this is a big test for us and to really show the IFL and the league, what we're all about.
Yeah, I saw on the transactions page today for the IFL that Arizona has lost Desmond Epps and Amos, which are two big players on the offense, and Epps special teams as well. So it hasn't always been their offense that gets it done. It's normally their defense, which, of course, if you can somehow manage to throw 8 touchdowns against Arizona, I think that speaks volumes. Did the year off help? I've been so blown away to see how well you've done. When most people, they've got a little bit of rust to work out, but that's not the case for you.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I definitely had a little rust coming into camp and coming off to start the year off. So I'll definitely admit that. But that year off definitely gave me the hunger to just get back and to really just give it my all. And I've been I'm a personal trainer and coach, quarterbacks coach high school football back home. So I was always staying in shape, working out and all that good stuff. And I just miss it so much. And coming back here, just to leave everything out on the field. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of hard work. Like I said, that year off, it was tough. It was definitely tough on me personally. So coming back, it was something, I just wanted to prove that I was able to play again. So, just been working hard and got to continue to work hard. It's still early in the season, very early. So there's a long way to go still. So it's definitely exciting. Definitely exciting.
You got some toys there on offense in Sampson and Currington, and Currington is no stranger to my top 10 each week. He's been on there 2 weeks in a row now, and he's made some amazing catches, which as a quarterback, that's definitely got to be good to see, because you don't want to get a guy that's got a case of the drops one day. But there was a call that was made. I was listening to the announcers as I'm watching the replay of your guys' game. And the 43-yarder to Sampson, where you drew the guys off sides and you got a free play out of it. One of the announcers went so far as to say that Aaron Rodgers-like presence to know what you're working with and to draw them up. Was that your intent, or did that just all happen by random chance?
I am telling you 100% that is 100% my intent. It's hilarious. I literally learned that from that man. And everybody knows in the world that he is obviously the best at, catching the defense offline and, getting those free plays like that. So I've definitely worked on my cadence, by watching him. Obviously being in Wisconsin, living in Wisconsin, playing in Green Bay, obviously a big Aaron Rodgers fan. So I definitely stole that from him, because obviously when that happens, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. It's a game changer. So that was big time. But yeah, that's definitely spilled. That announcer must have done his research. He must have known what he was talking about up there.
Well, I will take your word for it. But I got to say, it surprised me, because I know that in this league, there's a lot of some minor things that you don't have that you do in the NFL, the 11-on-11 game. And I always thought that trying to do things like that was almost unheard of, because I'm watching film and I'm just like, if I'm a defender, I'm not even watching the quarterback. I'm waiting for that receiver's foot to cross, because if you guys don't have like a cadence where you say hut twice and the guys go in motion, you freaking signal them with both arms, go.
Yep.
It's the weirdest thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a little different. So that little mix up, it's definitely crazy. It's definitely tough for the defensive linemen, and it keeps them, from being so aggressive and actually just timing stuff up like that. So it's definitely something you have in your arsenal as a quarterback that helps out. Keeps the defense honest too, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, hey man.
Oh yeah.
You guys have had a great start to your inaugural season, and I mean this when I say it, and I've said it a couple times, that, if you compare San Diego and Tucson side by side as what they are, which is two brand new teams to a league, that you have an example of one that is done right and the other one is done not so right. And I think what you guys have been able to accomplish down there in Tucson to start the season with 2-0 and to have a big home debut like that, I love seeing you guys be successful, and certainly throwing 8 touchdowns in a game doesn't hurt either.
Right. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to see. It's great to see for the league. It's great to see for the city. So yeah, hopefully we continue to win and put on a show, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm definitely excited for the rest of the season.
Well, hey, good luck this weekend. Pick on the big brother and give us all an entertaining game. But I'm glad to see you back, man. Really happy for you, and best of luck in the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me. It's going to be a great season. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
All right, he is Tucson Sugar Skulls' Matt Behrendt, and the reigning outstanding offensive player of the week. You take care, my friend. Have a good night.
I appreciate you, my guy.
And once again, thank you, Cole Herdman and Matt Behrendt, our outstanding offensive player of the week. Can't say that enough. It was outstanding. 8 touchdowns. And, God, just such a performance by him. So happy for him, taking a year off, doing what he's got to do, get right, and get back in it. So props to him. Cole Herdman, sky's the limit. He's going to be a fantastic tight end for whatever team decides to pick him up, and I certainly hope that happens for him on draft day, and he doesn't have to play the free agency game. But we did today, and it was fun, and I thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a like, a follow, a share, listen, all that good stuff. iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker.com. Those are all the ways that you can subscribe and listen on demand. Of course, if you are able to listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you can do so on Spreaker.com/user/The Fan Show. Make sure that you follow. That way you can get notified when we go live in case we have to do another fan show after dark or reschedule because Facebook is down, whatever the case may be. But on demand will always be there. So if you can't listen live, please subscribe and then give us a follow on Twitter @FanShowOfficial, Instagram The Fan Show, and give us a like and share all the content that you want at Facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and it's all fun and games until you buff fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.